Hi, I'm Ozzie Hall. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This Behringer UB-Xa video is a series of short demos of my dozen favorite factory patches. I will have some comments on the architecture and capability of the UB-Xa, but this will not be an exhaustive review. As you're watching, if you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Let's listen to the Dirty Dozen factory favorites. This preset is Bank D, Solaris. It gets pretty noisy. I like to trim the noise back to about 9 o'clock here. Those are my 12 favorite factory sounds. I have a few comments and observations about the UB-Xa and the factory sounds, but first, let me ask you again to please like and subscribe. You may be wondering about different types of bread and butter sounds that are not included in this demo. For example, there are no string sounds nor electric pianos. These different types are in the factory patches, but they were not my favorite sounds. Frankly, after listening to all of the factory patches, I concluded that I really needed to buy some third-party patches. I purchased all 3 volumes of UB-Xa patches available from Ultimate Patches. There are about 100 patches per volume. To install these new patches, I copied a couple of dozen sounds from factory banks A, B, and C to bank D. You just heard some of these. Then I loaded the 3 volumes from Ultimate Patches into bank A, B, and C. I'm planning a similar video to this for the Ultimate Patches collection. Now a few comments about the UB-Xa. First, the cons. With 32 VCOs, the Behringer recommends a warm-up time of 15 minutes. Wow. On the positive side, the calibration continues in the background as you are using the UB-Xa. There are a number of patches that are rendered useless, in my opinion, by the pitchiness. This is almost always the result of the atrophy settings, which can change from preset to preset. So, this is a fixable problem in those patches. Exactly how to do that is outside the scope of this video. The panel is deceptively simple. The deception is that there are so many parameters that are only accessible using the shift button or via the display and encoder. Speaking of the display, I know my eyes are not perfect, but this red display is the most difficult to read of any display I have on a Pro Synth. I'd gladly pay for a replacement display that is easier to read. Another serious shortcoming is that the keyboard lacks onboard effects. It can imitate certain effects. For example, it can produce repeats to some degree by modulating the VCF and/or VCA with a sawtooth LFO. This somewhat imitates an echo. It can also produce something of a reverb effect by using a longer release time. This can be quite effective in some patches. With 16 voices, the voice stealing is much less likely to be heard. In effect, each voice will begin as a note and continue as a virtual reverb. The reverb will end when all 16 notes have been played and it is time to reuse the oldest voice for a new note. It actually works much better than I expected. Having said that, I do plan to use outboard effects with the UB-Xa. Now for the pros. There are a few features which are standouts. Number 1 is analog voices. There are 16 of them. This allows for splits and stacks that still have 8 voices. Number 2 is polyphonic aftertouch. Number 3 is the filter's 2-pole, 4-pole switch. Often a 4-pole filter will darken a sound so much it is buried in the mix. Switching to 2-pole can really take the top off of the sound and help it cut through in the mix. Number 4, there is a quantize button for the LFO. This can create chromatic runs when routing the LFO to the oscillator. You could think of this as a stair-step or zipper effect. It's a little difficult to wrangle musically, but it is a cool effect that's very rare. Number 5, the UB-Xa does some great bell sounds, given the analog structure of the instrument. Number 6, the arpeggiator works well. Specifically, assume you have the hold button on with the arpeggiator running with 3 notes selected. If you move one of your fingers to a different key, it does not hold the key you release. This makes it easy to create an evolving sequence of notes while still maintaining a triplet feel. So there are my thoughts on the UB-Xa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future UB-Xa videos. Thanks so much for watching.